Hey, this is Eric from Satisfied Incorporated here, and today is going to be a good day because I'm making a video to do a walk around with this Reseda Green 530i E12. And the reason it's a good day is because I bought this car quite a while ago, and I've built quite a few cars, and I've never had quite as many problems as I've had with this one. This one's been a pain in my butt. Which is kind of a bad thing for me, but it's going to be a great thing for whoever wants to buy this car. So the story is on this one, I bought this car. Um, I bought it non-running, which is always a risk, and I think we all know that, and if you don't, you should. But I bought it non-running, and the previous owner to this, it was pretty much implied, and I'm not saying he said anything, but to me it was implied that it was a fuel pump problem. He hooked a universal fuel pump up to it, said he got it running, and then it just never started again. So I thought I was going to buy this car and replace the fuel pump, maybe fuel filter or something, you know, and mess around with it, clean it up. I like to put new interiors in them, do something like that, and then flip it, make a couple bucks. So long story short, I don't know how it's possible that a car stops running and has so many problems all at once. So, and it made troubleshooting a complete pain in the butt. So basically what happened is I thought it was a fuel pump problem, which it was, because there was it was just kind of cobbled together to try to get fuel to the motor. But it ended up being fuel pump. But the things I ran into is that it was also ignition, so it wouldn't start. So it was like the ignition wiring had to be replaced, and the ignition cylinder had to be replaced, and then the wire to the coil was fried, and it was et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, before I even got to the point of going to fuel. So anyway, this thing, I have a lot of time into this, a lot of time, and you know, I kept working on it, and I like the car so much. I mean, you can look at that thing, and it's a beautiful car. I'll walk through the details on this car, but actually I'll have to read it off because one, it's been so long since I've done everything, and two, there's so much that I can't even remember. So I'll read off all the details, but basically this car is completely rebuilt, minus a few things. So it's like, I shouldn't say completely rebuilt. The only things that haven't been touched is the rear end. You know, it's been inspected. The differential looks fine. Rubber bushings and all that, it all looks solid. So it's like the rear end, trailing arms and stuff were never touched. Driveline wasn't touched. And then the transmission, which transmission's running smooth and everything. So pretty much those three things. Oh, and the bottom end of the motor wasn't touched. So that's it. And then everything else on this thing's been gone through. And I mean gone through 20 times over. So I'll walk you through it and see what you think. So this is the Reseda Green 1978 530i BMW E12. So, and if you're looking at it and you're like, it's not quite Reseda Green, it's been resprayed. So there are definitely spots you can see where it's been resprayed. If you're looking for a super clean paint job, you'll want to probably skip this car. It is not a super clean paint job. But if you want a car with a ton of character, this would be the car, because it's got the patina, and then it's got, you know, the paint. Like, see, you can see the patina. You know, there's a couple scratches and stuff around here on the other side. This is the most patina it's got here, which, you know, there's a little bit there, but it's to me, this adds to the character of the car. To me, this is what makes the car. There's a couple of little battle wounds, you know, but yeah, mostly a pretty decent paint job. You know, you can see down there it's been resprayed. There's a little bit of the original Reseda, and then this. So this is also slick top. So if you're looking for a slick top, this is a more difficult one to find. So 530i Reseda Green with a slick top. Not the most common amongst uncommon cars. So the E12 is getting really hard to find, but to find this color in a 530, you know, almost impossible these days. So this thing runs good. It drives good. It's ready to go. There's not much that needs to be desired. Like I said, I've rebuilt most everything. And then externally, just starting it off. So we got, you know, Euro bumpers, like in really good shape. I put the Euro bumpers on and I replaced them. All new hardware. You know, if you know anything about these cars and the Euro bumpers, the hardware can get rusted and they just go through a lot. So I've restored these pretty much. You can see these things. There's a little bit of dirt and stuff on them, but they shine. They're really good. They're nice bumpers. So we got those Euro bumpers on there. I threw a BBS front valance on there, which looks awesome. It's paint matched. So, and it's not, this isn't spray can. This is automotive grade paint. So it's really nice, clear coat and all. And then moving on, we got some multi-piece TRX that I made, Satisfied Incorporated. These are super nice wheels. You know, these are a couple grand on their own. So they look super sharp, black hardware, mirror finish lips. This is all on air suspension. So, and if there's a guy out there that hates air suspension, but he really likes this car, that's the beauty of the suspension, is you could just, we could convert this boat over to coilovers or even just stock suspension. I could do that super easy. And then just kind of cosmetically on the exterior, the only other things worth mentioning is I got some brand new rear lights going on. So on both sides, that's nice. Got a full toolkit in here, which is harder to find. So you're ready to go in the full toolkit. It's all pretty legit. So here's your air suspension setup, all nice and tidy. So and then moving on to the mechanical part of things. Like I say, most of it's been rebuilt, but we're talking about front brakes. I've redone everything. So that's rebuilt calipers, new rotors, new pads, rear also. This thing will stop on a dime. It'll put you through the windshield. It's no joke. I don't know why the brakes work so good on this, but they do. So, and then also when I was doing the brakes, just went ahead and you know, the wheel bearings in the front end, they've all been rebuilt. So those are good to go. New tie rods, new control arms, and then I've got strut spacers that go underneath the strut in the knuckle, and those have been installed. So that gives a lowered car a much nicer ride. Anybody that even has lowering springs should get those on. So, and then as I said, this is air suspension, but we can you can switch that out for just coilovers, or you could do you know, you got the air suspension, whatever, you could go to stock. So the alignment and the camber have been adjusted and set on this. Moving on to the headlights, moved away from the sealed beams. We got the Satisfied Incorporated LED kit in here. And then as you can see on the side there, we've got the clear turn signals. So those will be white when driving, and then they flash orange when you're turning. So this whole entire car has LEDs, so LED headlights, LED tail lights, turn signals, everything. This thing is it's a 1978, but it's got brand new LED technology, and it's, you know, it's a safety thing, but it also looks good. And then also another thing on this is on these old BMWs here, they have the old 4-pin turn signal relay, which is impossible to find. It's super expensive if you do find it. So I've converted that to the Satisfied Incorporated kit, which does the 3-pin, standard 3-pin relay. And then another thing on this car was one of the only things that it had rust around the windshield. So I pulled the windshield out and I've addressed all the rust. There's zero rust under there. Installed a new windshield with a new gasket, and I put the sealant all around the gasket so it won't be rusting again. So that windshield's good to go. So let's move into the interior. The interior on this thing is good to go. It's really nice. So I replaced the dash, and there's a really good dash in here now. It's all nice, but you know, when I pulled the dash, I made sure everything went back together right too. So, you know, coming in here to like all these knobs, the clock, the heater valve, all that stuff, even the stereo, it's all replaced. You know, you got the dash lights, everything in there is all good to go. It's all been redone. There's nothing on this car that doesn't work. So door panels are really nice. I sourced all four new, whatever you call those, the mirror chrome, not really chrome, plastic piece. All four of those are new. Those are hard to find. Your door pockets on most old BMWs, they pull away. They're all broken. Not these. These are all good to go. Like I say, your door panel's all good. Oh, and then the wood. Wood is really hard to find in good shape on these E12s, and you can see this wood's all amazing. So if you look at every door, is all amazing. All the door handles, all the door cards, everything looks great. So I installed a nice wooden steering wheel. This is all custom manufactured adapters to get this 9-bolt steering wheel in here. And like I said, the stereo is all new. Speakers are all brand new. You know, they still sound like 4x6s. If you want something that sounds good, you'll have to put a sub or something in the back. Depends on what you do with the stereo. One thing that does not work, it worked when I started driving the car and I just haven't taken it back apart, is the trip meter on the well, the trip, not the mileage, but the trip doesn't work. So there's a little gear in there that needs to be replaced. So like I say, all the windows work. Everything's working great shape here. Got a new manufactured airlift mount in there, so your air ride has a good mount. I did the new leather front seats. They turned out really good. They've got like a antique-ish look, which is these seats are really nice, really comfortable, and they also match the rear seats. The rear seats are in great shape too. They're stock, but see if I can get a good view. The light's a little different out here, but it's those actually match pretty good. They look a little bit darker here in the sunlight. I also have the stock front seats that are in really good shape. So if you want stock to go back to stock front seats for some reason, have at it. But I like these seats. I think these are really nice. So as I said, the all windows work. All windows work good. All the switches work good. Everything on this car is working except for, like I say, the trip meter, and then the central locking. I don't believe is working either. So those are two things. Oh, sorry, three things. Another one is the AC. It says non-working AC. I never got into the AC. I just, you know, maybe I should because I'm selling the car. But for me, it's just, I don't care about the AC, and I don't think it's worth the trouble. I like to just roll the windows down and cruise a classic. So, and then going into the mechanical, which I said, which is it was the nightmare on this thing. So I got it, and the ignition wiring was blown out, which is typical. So I replaced the ignition wiring, and then also the ignition cylinder was blown out. So I replaced all that. Still couldn't get it to start. So I found the wire going to the coil was fried. So I replaced that. And then I moved on to the fuel pump, which the fuel filter had problems. And then it's just the whole entire fuel system had problems. So that's the bad news for me. The good news is this whole thing's been replaced. So I replaced the fuel tank with a really nice clean one. So the inside looked brand new. So that thing's good to go. You know, that's something you won't find on any other E12s you might be looking at. So the fuel tank all the fuel lines, including to the motor, back to the fuel tank, also all your emissions lines, all that. Every line's been replaced on this thing. The fuel injectors were clogged and not in great shape. They have brand new fuel injectors in here. You know, obviously I had to take apart all the intake and all that stuff to get to the fuel injector. So this all has new gaskets and everything's all refreshed on the top end of this car. I've tuned it. The throttle body's all been lubed and cleaned. I don't know if you can tell, it's all super clean. So it's the whole entire fuel system, from fuel tank, fuel pump, fuel filter, fuel lines, fuel injectors, all your intake. That's all been redone. And then I also redid the head, which um, I found AMC branded head, which is an upgraded E12 head, which is good because on these 530s, they're known for cracking around the cylinder walls from the reactors. And by the way, all the reactors, all the emissions on these 530i stuff, that's all crazy. It's all been removed. It's all done. So this car's all done. But anyway, I had the new head in there, the AMC head. So it's a thicker walled head. I resurfaced that. I did, you know, all the valve sills. I put a new camshaft in there. All the rocker arms are good. Everything's all checked out in there. Everything's good. So, you know, timed, all that stuff. Distributor, I upgraded all that. So, you know, obviously all the silly stuff like the plugs, wires, cap, all that's new. But I also did the Pertronix coil and the ignition. And so it doesn't run the points anymore. So this thing's all ready to go. Trying to think of anything else I missed. You know, obviously the head gasket since I did the head. You know, new battery. So, oh, and all the undercarriage is, I did new fresh undercoating. So it's all new undercoating. You know, there's no rust on this car at all. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's some surface rust. I don't know if like you can see in there. See that? I don't know if you call that rust. I mean, of course it is a little bit, but I don't know if anybody would be concerned about that, but just for full disclosure. Oh, and the other thing I threw on here is because I was getting rid of the all the reactors and all that stuff, is I threw some stall headers on there. So this thing sounds aggressive. It sounds good. All new hoses, thermostat, water pumps. All this stuff's been replaced. And I don't know if you can tell, but the intakes, all of it's been sandblasted and it's been cleaned up. Oh, all the engine wiring, like to the injectors and to the sensors and stuff, I've replaced all those, all the wiring on that. I've redone most all the wiring in the whole engine compartment because it was just kind of a mess. Trying to think anything else I missed. So, you know, all your hoses, all your consumable stuff, the hoses and the wiring and all that stuff, it's all kind of been replaced. So like I said, there's not much on this car that has not been touched. So yeah, it's that's kind of the overlook on this car. I'm gonna put up like a promotional type video, and you can kind of see some more details as far as just looks and whatnot. But it's a pretty killer car with lots of work done. Other thing is the fuse box. I cleaned all the fuse box out. It's got all new ceramic fuses. You know, power steering's been flushed, radiator's been flushed, so everything's been done. But yeah, I was saying this is a good car. So check this car out. If you're interested, let me know.